So I just wanted to talk about the fifth round of the FA Cup, and specifically just the three matches: Chelsea City, Arsenal Hull, and Blackburn West Ham. Matches that were either sort of really big games or were matches that sort of had something to talk about, basically. So Chelsea managed to thump City 5-1. Now this is a huge win for Chelsea. Even they really needed this, because they really are going to need an FA Cup win if they're going to guarantee themselves a European place. I really don't see them getting one without it. They've been struggling. They've been struggling all season in the Premier League. This is going to give them a great big boost of confidence as well, and I doubt they're going to qualify through the traditional methods. Chelsea were in control throughout the whole game, and City created just barely any chances, really. Naive defending from City all throughout, especially on the first goal. I mean, who leaves Diego Costa completely unmarked in the box when you've got two defenders sitting around there looking at each other? City did rest pretty much their entire first team for this, and it really did show. They started with 5 teenagers making their debut for the club, and it was a tough game to start your City career at. They had one eye on the trip to Dynamo Kiev in the Champions League, so obviously Manuel Pellegrini has not prioritised the FA Cup in any way, shape or form. Now Chelsea were really good throughout this, and they controlled the whole game from start to finish. This is going to give them that boost that they really need, and even though there were very few first team regulars for City, they really should be holding on for longer than, holding out for more than a 5-1 loss. Really, they should be doing this, and this is going to really dent their confidence. Even though they weren't playing, it's going to reflect badly on the club, especially when you're fighting for the Premier League, fighting in Europe as well. It's not going to do them any good. And I agree with Shearer, they shouldn't be just putting out a token team against Chelsea. I know other club is doing that with one eye on the Champions League. Chelsea put out Chelsea were always going to put out a strong squad against them. Arsenal, for example, they put out a really tough team, a strong team in their match, and now they're only really playing Hull. Guaranteed it wasn't their first team, but it was still a strong squad. Barcelona playing Arsenal, they put out a really strong team in their La Liga match. You can't afford to do these kinds of things. You've got to keep your irons in as many fires as possible. So we're going to move on and talk about Arsenal versus Hull next. Now this should have been a really comfortable win for Arsenal, and it was a very comfortable game for Arsenal, but they just could not get that ball in the back of the net. This was mostly down to the performance of the Hull goalkeeper, Eldin Jakupovic. He was fantastic throughout the whole game, and without him, Hull certainly would have lost by at least 3 or 4 goals in this one. Arsenal had 24 shots, 11 of which were on target, and Hull could only manage one token weak header against Petr Cech. Shows you how much in control of the game Arsenal really were. Now Arsenal did have 2 strong penalty appeals turned down. For me, both were penalties. First one, more 50-50. Second one, stonewall penalty. With that should have should or could or would have taken them a victory. They should have won, though. They dominated so much in this game, and they really should have been able, even with that keeper playing so well, they should have been able to stick the ball in the back of the net. Now Hull did defend really well throughout, and what they did very well was they made sure there was as little space in the box to work with as possible for Arsenal, and they squeezed every square inch they could. Now Arsenal really didn't need this result. They don't want a replay. They want as few additional games as possible when they're fighting for for the Premier League title against City and Leicester at the moment, and this is going to really play into the hands of the other title contenders, especially, and also Tottenham as well. Sorry to leave them out. And next up, we're going to talk about the Blackburn versus West Ham game, which was a 5-1 win for West Ham, a really thumping win for them as well. Now this was a great one for West Ham. Their confidence is going to be flying high after this, and they're going to need that confidence as they are looking to secure themselves a European place. This may be the way that they're going to do it, with so much competition around that area of the table. Now Blackburn did go a goal up, but West Ham recovered really quickly, and soon were back in front 2-1 thanks to goals from Victor Moses and Dimitri Payet. Now Payet was outstanding in this game. He was at the centre of every good West Ham attack. Blackburn really suffered when they had Taylor sent off on 55 minutes, and this kind of just allowed West Ham to completely play and dominate the game. and they were quickly punished after the sending off by a goal from the new signing for West Ham, Emmanuel Emenike. West Ham did have Kouyaté sent off, but it didn't really seem to make much of a difference to them. They continued to press, and they scored again through Emenike, and another one through Payet, who scored a really cracking run and strike to close out the game. Now, this is exactly the kind of game West Ham needed, and they're going to take buckets of confidence off this result, and with such a comprehensive win. And I think you're going to see this reflected in how they perform in the Champions League games, not in the Champions League, in the Premier League games, and not in the Champions League. But that's how I see my roundup of the fifth round of the FA Cup. Be interested to see what everyone thinks. Comment below. Thanks a lot, guys.